Oh, good afternoon, folks. Hey, it's Shooter. Welcome to Weekend Box Scores. Swing Trade Notes Edition. Of course, at the end of the presentation, please do review our disclosures. Well, market conditions, I'm sticking with directional to bearish. Reason, even though we got that pump off of the non-farm payroll Friday, I don't know that it holds. I really don't believe that it holds. That's just my 2 cents. Now we had this Hamas target of Israel this weekend, and as it's about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I'm looking at this, doing this, bond futures are up about 12 ticks, so muted. Gold is up about 1%, so muted. Oil's up 5%. I'd still classify that as muted, where equity's up about 70 bips. So let's look at the dollar. Now, our rally on Friday had a lot to do with the dollar as well, not just non-farm payroll. So it was like two events collided together. So only time will tell whether that holds and we do end up in a little bit of a downtrend here, or this was just a back test of the breakout. We get our divergence off, where we get our overbought status gone, and then we get back down around the 50-day and we start over again, because that's basically what we did here and what we did here as well. So we got back just to about 50% on RSI, or 50 on the RSI, and then we started to continue. All right, taking a look at TLT, that 83 is about in. Now, whether or not we continue to roll over or we get some kind of decent bounce here. So if we do roll over, I think that's indicative of further weakness. So our ultimate $80 target could get pushed lower. I just have a hard time thinking the Fed is done here, just with what we're hearing about inflation and, now what we have going on in the Middle East. That's just going to weigh on inflation, and that's not something the Fed's going to be able to stop. All right, taking a look at earnings this week, got a big week. I'm mostly interested in Tesla and Citi on Friday. However, we're going to really understand which direction the banks are going to go here. If we do have a bullish environment, some bullish earnings that come out of the banks, I think we hold up well. Number of other names, will probably be important. I always we've been getting hit on utilities and foods. So, seeing what Chipotle and Domino's does this week, I think is going to be good. McDonald's, is going to be on Monday evening, so that should give us a base. So, if McDonald's comes off, we might short Domino's and Chipotle. Should be an interesting week for sure. My conviction is Tesla long. The $7,500 credit at the point of purchase is going to do nothing to help them with the Ford strikes going on. So, I think that's just a tailwind for us. PXD, as far as being acquired by Exxon, really from the time I put out that alert Friday morning, this pretty much has not stopped. I think they need 300 to really get the deal done. Now, IWM, I think we continue lower here. Had a nice pop Friday off of non-farm payroll and the dollar. Now, obviously, if the dollar continues in a downward trajectory, my bias shifts with that towards more of a directional view than a bearish view. But right now, one weekly candle to the downside in the dollar with how much we've been pushing, to me, is still irrelevant until we see that trend change. CBRE, we got stopped out on this, looking for another entry around 76. So we'll reload there. Home builders, same thing, stopped, except for we're right there. So I want to see how the market reacts this week if we continue to push. I want to see how it opens. I may even wait till Tuesday to see, before I jump on board with some more shorts. But I have much more conviction in Airbnb than I do home builders, just because of how the chart looks at this point. We're right at the breakdown line. We got much more room to the downside. It's a good $20 trade to our intermediate wave 3. And, I think we head down towards the $70, $80 range first quarter next year, and probably much lower by the end of the year. So I'm looking at being in this for an extended period of time to the downside. Now, our counts on indices shifted bullish. However, I'll be just very candid. I don't necessarily believe those counts. I don't think they're going to stick. I think we're going to do this flip-flopping thing until this breaks down. We'll have to see how we open Monday. Right now, futures don't indicate that there's any fear in the market. But obviously, if this war escalates, it's going to hit indices, I think, as well as oil. We've only had that 5% pop, but still, it's sort of written on the wall of where we're going to head. And I think with Iran involved here, and we're now moving some of our ships off the coast over there, or moving them closer, I think it implies we're going to have some involvement. In addition to that, not Myanmar, or his name, I'm forgetting his pronunciation of his name, but I understand there's a number of cities being evacuated along the Gaza Strip. in Israel, sort of indicative of a full-scale invasion is coming. So that's going to weigh as well. Now, NASDAQ, similar thing. We got a push off of non-farm payroll as well, filled the gap. We're looking for maybe 370, then we back test to 358. However, I still think we're going to break down. I don't think this holds. That's my 2 cents. We don't flip-flop like this when we get bullish. We only get flip-flop like this in downtrend. So, that bias is just sticking in the back of my head. Looking at Bitcoin, we've gotten a decent push here off of the XRP news. And apparently Grayscale Bitcoin Trust actually had some success as well, sort of upholding that SEC has no legal reason to treat a spot Bitcoin differently than futures. So, I'm going to just stick in my little box where I'm at. I'm going to stick with GBTC, and I'm going to stick with my smaller miners, because if we do get up and out, they have the most significant upside. A couple bucks to $16 will be really good. I think GBTC, we head towards our 26 bucks on a 31 Bitcoin, roughly in the range there. All right, looking at Ethereum, we're just flat here. Just building out that base. We could be here for a while. We're sort of stuck. XRP, now still continuing to hear very positive news coming out here. The banks even were out talking about this, as far as it being the most cost-effective means of transferring money. I want a back test of the speed line one more time. 1, 2, we get a third over here. I get really interested. So this is probably going to be here for a little while, but we're looking for maybe 73. And that's pretty much what I have for this week, folks. Great trading. Until next time.